Now it's time to move to the LFO. You should know by now what LFO is. You should have read all about it. So first we're going to choose a waveform for my LFO. Let's go for the square one, which is very easy to hear. I'm going to set back my modulation envelope to 0, so we won't get confused. Now the rate of my LFO1 is the speed. It can be free, as you can see there, the MIDI numbers going from 0 to 127, that's free run. Or it can be in sync, which is much more fun, so the LFO will synchronize to music values. Let's go for 16 notes. 16 notes. And this is the amount, how wide my waveform is going to be. Let's set it to 30 something. So what's going to happen is that the pitch of my two oscillators is going to be raised in the shape of this square form at the rate of 16 notes. Let's hear it. Let's try different rates. And different amount. Now let's try a different waveform. How about a ramp wave? Ramp down. Random square. Random sine wave. And triangle. Other destinations for this LFO, other things that you can assign it to, is the pitch of oscillator number 2, filter frequency, FM, phase, and mix. Here we have a second LFO. This one you cannot synchronize it, but here you have your rate and amount knobs. And delay it. This delay is not related in any way to echo. It's just to delay the entrance of the LFO a little bit if you need to. Let's go for oscillator 1 and 2. Let's deactivate LFO 1 by setting the amount to 0 so we don't get confused, and listen to the LFO number 2. That's LFO number 2. Velocity. This velocity section is where you can program velocity to modify some of your synthesizer parameters. The most obvious one, of course, is velocity to amplitude or velocity to volume. So now, at different velocities, I can trigger different volumes. Low velocity, high velocity. Velocity can also control in this synthesizer the FM amount. I'm going to deactivate LFO2. Low velocity, high velocity. You can also control other parameters with velocity, such as phase, amplitude attack, mix, filter decay and filter envelope, and the frequency of filter 2. So far we've covered sound generation, oscillators, sound modifiers, filters, envelopes, and 2 LFOs, and now we are patching the velocity to different parameters. We can also patch the modulation wheel, this wheel that you have here, to different synthesizer parameters. The most obvious one is the filter frequency. Let's try it out. Can also alter the same way the filter resonance. The amount of LFO number 1. change the phase or add FM frequency modulation. This range box here that has a number 7, it means 7 semitones or keys, and that's how much your pitch bend will bend when you turn it up or down. 7 keys up, 7 keys down. You can change this number up to 4 octaves. Portamento. Portamento is a sliding effect between two notes. The more portamento you apply to your knob, the longer the sliding effect is going to be. So that's pretty much how you use the synthesizer. Generate sounds, modify them, patch the functions through. I'm going to retweak a couple of things really quick because I remember that I really liked this modulation envelope with the FM. Let's play it now. More release. It's a cool sound to make drones, stuff like that. So once I'm done putting together my sound the way I did, remember I went from a single sine wave to this sound that is a little bit more sophisticated. Now I want to save my patch or sound so I can recall it in any recent song I want, or I can email it to my friends or do whatever I want with it. So on the browser section, you click on the Save Patch button that looks like a floppy disk. I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to name it My Drone ZYP. That's the default extension for Subtractor patches, so don't alter that. Click on Save. And here's my patch. Patch files are usually very, very small. 4K. Nothing. So that's how you make a sound from scratch in Subtractor. I trust that with this video, plus the readings on Subtractor, you shouldn't have any problems to start putting together your own exciting sounds. To recall the patch that you just created is really easy. Let's open any other patch now in Subtractor. So now if I want to recall my drone, browse patch, locate it on the desktop in this case, my drone, click on OK, and here it is. In the next videos for Maelstrom and Thor, I might skip a little bit on everything that are like filters and envelopes, since in this video you should have learned very well what they're used for.